As an introduction to the video, I put this to a random timestamp, and already you see this police officer here in the US, very common. Anywhere I've been in the US, this is pretty much what they look like. And I know comparing to UK police, probably police in general around the world, this guy looks like he's ready for war. I mean, ready for war or ready for a riot. But this is what the video is about. How does UK police equipment compare to US cops? So with that and this big difference, and we all know we have problems here in the US with guns, this guy definitely looks like he is fully loaded. Even when they would come on campuses, when I'd be at school, of course they would be decked out like you see on the screen. So let's jump into it and let's see the differences between the equipment between the different police forces.
Okay, so from top to bottom we have our PR, our radio, communicating with each other and to control. We've got a body-worn video that's activated on most jobs. It's got a 30-second buffer, so that when we do activate it, it pre-records 30 seconds, so it gives us some sort of time. So if we do miss anything, we don't press it in time, it pre-records 30 seconds beforehand, which is quite useful.
It's good.
I'm carrying a Taser, which is about 400 officers currently in Kent. Yeah. So that's the Taser itself. It's an X2. It's got two shots capability. That's recently come in over the past year.
Okay.
PAVA,
right.
Which is a pepper spray, which all officers carry. The ASP Baton, rigid handcuffs, and then these are fast straps. So if someone's being particularly unmanageable, these Velcro straps can be placed around their legs just to make them more manageable.
Like my colleague, I've got most of the kit, albeit just apart from the Taser.
So the most noticeable thing.
And already just a massive difference here. Like I said, it looks like he's going to war. Things on both legs, around the waist, on his shoulder. Not to mention even his police car. I don't even know if they'll mention what is in that police car. I know I remember being in, my friend's dad was a police officer, and he was taking me home from when I was in Boy Scouts long ago, and he just had a shotgun just sitting right next to all of us. Just a shotgun just sitting there, which was pretty weird, you know, it was a little strange. But UK question for the UK police, tasers, is that, do all of them have tasers now? Is that a new thing? Have they always had tasers? I didn't really catch what he said there, but I am curious if all police departments across the United Kingdom have tasers, or is it mainly in cities such as London that carry tasers and otherwise maybe just pepper spray and batons and handcuffs? On to the United States police.
Thing obviously he's going to have is his firearm, his sidearm. These are a Glock 9mm semi-automatic handgun. In addition to that, he'll have his impact weapon, his baton, latex gloves, combat tourniquet to be able to use on civilians or fellow officers or himself for that matter. He carries a Leatherman multi-tool, handcuffs, spare magazines for his sidearm, his Taser, his radio, and an individual first aid kit, which is again another gunshot wound and severe bleeding prevention kit.
Sergeant, how heavy is the kit you're carrying, and does it sometimes get a little cumbersome?
It's about 30 pounds total between everything I carry. It does get cumbersome when you first put it on. I had to get used to these extra pouches here, but after a while, your body adapts to the extra bulk, and you don't feel it after a while.
Now, you're a fit bloke. You obviously work out, but I can't help but notice there's a bulge on your chest as well. Unless that's muscle, that's something. What have you got there?
I have a secondary firearm here.
So overall, our kit range.
Dang, I thought that was going to be body armor, because some police, especially at some times, and some, I'm sure police, I bet they have the option to wear body armor if they want. Because some cities, especially here, I'm sure you know at least a hint of the crime rates that are here. But I didn't know that they would carry, I wouldn't know why you'd carry a second pistol underneath in your chest in general. And then you have all those magazines. Like, that guy's ready for like a straight up shootout. It's just crazy the difference between these two. I mean, who would you feel more protected if a police officer came up? Say someone from the United Kingdom, like one of these police officers you see here, walk up to you and give assistance, help you out. Or a police officer from the United States walks up to you from afar, from his police car, all blacked out, with rows of just guns, magazines, tasers, bunch of pouches everywhere. It's quite the difference. It's yeah, we'll talk about more right after.
It's around 7 kilograms. I'm wearing the the stab vest and the kit belt. There's also an optional load vest as well, which some people prefer to wear. That obviously distributes the kit we have more on the body, whereas my kit is mainly distributed on the belt itself. Depends on personal preference on whether that's on what you wear, but that's obviously up to the individual officer.
Could you imagine going on patrol either without your firearm or your taser?
No, not
Why
at all. The job we do is extremely dangerous and unpredictable. To go out there unarmed is insane to me.
In the UK, officers don't have anything like that. The best they have is a pepper spray. Would you be prepared to police the streets of London like that? What would you say to those guys and women who do it in London?
I give them
in the whole of England, actually, sorry.
I give them a lot of credit for doing what they do without the weapons and tools that we have here. I don't think I'd be a police officer over there, essentially going at the mercy of the wolves.
Captain, could you imagine sending your officers out without a taser, without a firearm of some sort?
I would sooner go out without shoes than I would without the kit like this.
And I guess you feel the same, Sergeant. It's like putting your shoes on, right?
Correct.
Now, you might be surprised about these responses, but I bet most Americans, most American cops would probably say the same. One, because their whole world here in the US is just so different, very different here than many other places of the world, especially the United Kingdom. And like the differences between healthcare costs here in the US, I've done a couple videos of that, and Americans' mindset on that. It is just as strong, I would say, with police having guns, and to have the feeling of being protected as a police officer, you need a firearm. Of course, no way. You know, if you become a police officer here, my mindset would be like, no way I would want to go out without a gun, because I forget what the stat is, but I think there's more firearms in the US than actual citizens. Like, you know, because people could have multiple firearms and they're just floating around everywhere, legally mainly, but a lot illegally. It gets pretty crazy here. Thankfully, where I live, it's not an issue. From what I hear from other cities, to me, it sounds like a war zone. To me, it's probably the same thought process as you, like, wow, I never want to go to this city. So different.
The same, Sergeant. It's like putting your shoes on, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I think it's a different environment out there. I think the Taser rollout for us will give us a very good, will give us enough use of force in this country. We obviously don't kind of have the same level of gun crime that they do in America.
Yeah,
And a lot of our kit is very similar. It's really just the firearm that we are lacking.
Yeah, I believe the mere presence of having a taser is almost enough sometimes to prevent a subject becoming aggressive or violent towards myself or my colleagues. It's a bright colour, it stands out, people are aware of its capabilities. When I go into jobs without having a taser as an option, subjects may feel that they have an advantage over me to some degree. Whilst I've still got kit, taser would be a lot more helpful in some situations.
All right. So what do you think of those differences? Have you been to the US and thought it was really weird? I could only imagine coming to the US from most places of the world and seeing a police officer looks pretty intimidating. And throughout this video, it just seemed like me watching the UK police officers. I just get the feeling of kind of more comfortable care for their citizens, kind of looking out for their city or town. Whereas here, you always just think of they're out to bust people. I've known many police officers here, and the ones that I know are all fantastic, but just comes off as more intimidating, so on and so forth. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. So until next time, thanks for joining, and I'll see you for the next video. Have a good rest of your day.